Brian Mahoney of the Associated Press. Brian, thanks for coming on with us today. Hope you had a great holiday. We are in the midst of talking about this very, very exciting opening of the NBA season over the holidays. How'd you find the first weekend so far?
Well, the Christmas Day games were great. Obviously, I was at the Garden, and that was a terrific first game of the season. And, going down to the last shot. The Lakers and Bulls game was a fantastic comeback in the last couple of minutes. Obviously, Heat Mavericks, was an interesting story. The game turned out bad, but anytime they have a finals rematch, people wanted to see it. And, as far as the late games, a lot of people were interested in seeing Chris Paul with the Clippers and, how good they can look. So it was, the ratings are great. People were watching in record numbers that day. So it was a great start to the season.
Brian, let me throw a few things at you real quick. How would you describe the atmosphere in Madison Square Garden on Christmas Day compared to, other big games you've been there for in the past?
Well, it was great for a couple of reasons. I mean, one, because obviously it's such a big rival to New York, and because the game ended up being so good, and the fact that people waited so long to have NBA basketball, I think, made them that much more excited. And their expectations. Since I've been covering this team, there haven't really been many seasons where they went into it and actually thought there was a chance of having a real good playoff run. So all that combined made it a really great atmosphere, and the fact that such a seesaw game. They led early by so much, then they lost the lead, and then came back, and Carmelo played great in that fourth quarter. So it all contributed to a great atmosphere.
Now, Brian, do you feel like that was a big statement game for the Knicks, or do you feel like it was just a win, a good win that could help them throughout the season and for the rest, from tonight on?
No, I think it was really important, and I understand everyone says, you can't get too ahead of yourselves, and they were without Paul Pierce and everything, but, if the Knicks want to think they're serious, they have to, if they had lost that game, if the Celtics had come back after the way they started the game without Paul Pierce, it would have been hard to get excited about the Knicks. It would have, been the same old story, that kind of feeling. But the fact that they, dug in at the end and made the key stops and found a way to pull out the game, I think it's really important for them. If you have expectations, you have to prove right away you're worthy of them. And for one game, like Carmelo said, they showed something to themselves that night. They need to get that win, and they did.
Well, I was going to say, Brian, how big of a difference maker is Tyson Chandler going to be for this team?
Well, I think it's going to be very important. He's the main reason people have the expectations they do, because we knew the Knicks were going to score. I mean, obviously having Amari Stoudemire and Carmelo Anthony and Mike D'Antoni's offensive system, points aren't going to be a problem. Stopping people is going to be the problem, and they got somebody who makes defenses better. We've seen just so far how bad Dallas has been without him. So he makes a real impact, and people expect he's going to make a real impact in New York, and that's why they believe that this could be a very good season.
What do you expect from these three games? Obviously, the Lakers, they haven't won a game. Golden State just won yesterday. Curry might not play tonight. What do you expect from this team?
Well, anytime you have West Coast trip is always tough. And, in this kind of shortened season, too, there's not going to be many off nights and everything. And the Lakers are going to be desperate for a win. Golden State has a lot of good scorers. And, Sacramento looked, very good last night. They got a good young player. So this is a tough trip. And you add to the fact that the Knicks, are shorthanded in the backcourt with, losing Shumpert now. And we don't know what kind of shape Bibby's in. They don't have Baron Davis yet. So this is it could be a very tough one for the Knicks. At the same time, if they play the way they did the other night, they certainly have reason to think they can get one of them at least. But it wouldn't shock me at all if they got none of them based on what they're facing right now.
Do you think Tony Douglas could step up to the challenge?
Well, that's one of the biggest question marks. He certainly has the potential. I mean, we've seen him have, he's very streaky, I think is the best way to put it. And when he's on a good streak, he plays great. When he's on a bad streak, that's a real problem. And point guard right now, both guards really are really the question marks the team has. And, if they address them, then it's going to be, a very good season, I think. But there's reason to wonder at this point in time.
Yeah, I mean, with abbreviated training camp, 66 games, all these moving parts, a guy like Baron Davis coming in and wants to be part of something special here in New York. I mean, it as exciting as the start is for the Knicks, and as exciting as a lot of their games are going to be, if not every night, it's still going to be quite a work in progress, don't you think?
Yeah, I mean, for sure, and D'Antoni has said that a couple times. It's going to take a couple weeks, and you have guys who just haven't had much practice time together, learning the system and everything, and, normally you have, a month before games start. You start, give or take, October 1st, and the season starts, end of October, November 1st. Right now you don't have that. So it's going to take time, and I think every coach realizes it. Even you look at a team like the Lakers and the Mavericks, the starts they're off to. I mean, we don't expect them to be as bad as they look right now, but given the short amount of time they had to get ready, it's not the ultimate surprise.
How important is a rivalry like this, and then obviously some of the other rivalries that are going to be developing out west with the rising young teams out there? How important are these for the league right now?
Well, I think it's very good. I mean, and like you say, New York-Boston is always viewed as such a great rivalry, and it hasn't been on the basketball court in a long time. And, part of me thought that, that game the other night, how many games have we seen lately where the Celtics hit that shot at the end against the Knicks, and the Knicks don't hit that shot? And so the fact that the Celtics had two cracks at it, the three-pointer from the corner and then Garnett's jumper at the end, and neither one went in, I think that gives the Knicks reason to believe it can be a rivalry now, and it would be great if it happens. I mean, that would have been I thought it would have been a great series last year. Obviously the Knicks weren't healthy, and the Celtics played great in the games in New York. But, if they get a shot to really develop it again, I think it'd be great for the NBA, and it'd be great for the two cities.